I mean, as a straight male, guy look great without a shirt on.
Let's
do
get
it.
pumped up. We are back. Not exactly experts. Back for another episode. We've got, I think, a pretty cool agenda for today. Talking a little bit about NFL draft and Project 11 with Alex Smith. But before we get into that, I'm going to real quick go back to our last episode. We were on talking about Big Cats, Tiger King, all the weirdness, all the crazy crap in that show. But the one poll we had out there was, should it be legal to own an exotic animal like a tiger? And it was pretty convincing. Most people think no. 71% said nope.
even if you have 150 acres like Fur plans to do after he retires, and he's just going to start raising tiger cubs, and so
even 100, even 100 is all. I think it is 100 is all you need, and you're solid. Like
that's all you need. You just need 100 acres.
We roll around in those balls, and
gyrospheres.
It's been amazing.
We still don't know what they are.
I thought
they are they're gyrospheres.
Okay.
I'm actually surprised 29% said yes. But
at least there's people I know that would come.
Oh my gosh, I would pay so much money to travel to Fur's Exotic Tiger Park to watch these 3 majestic cats take down a pair of antelope. Oh my gosh, I would love it.
All right. Well, let's get into our topics today. I think we're going to talk about the NFL draft first. This just happened a couple weeks ago, so it's still fresh on a lot of people's minds. I remember when it was coming up, I was talking about, I think we were supposed to do a workout together or something and I said, man, I really want to watch the NFL draft, the first rounds tonight, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to work out with you. And you got pissed. You thought it was stupid. Can't believe people actually sit down to watch this. I mean, where are you coming from?
Fur, you still think it's stupid?
Yes.
Yeah, you still think it's dumb that people sit down and watch the draft. Now, I want to hear, because obviously I know what side me and Rusty are on.
Yeah.
Me and Rusty, staunch, hardcore NFL fans.
Why?
Why is the NFL draft stupid?
What does it matter? It's a draft. There are no games going on. I can literally pull up the next day and see all of the results from the draft and know everything that happened in 30 seconds to what took you guys 4 hours to sit and watch.
Well, it's the same thing as watching the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't have to watch Super Bowl. I can show.
That's the game. That's the game. That's actually the game being played. These are just people being drafted onto the team.
Yeah, major freaking important people.
It's live. And plus, it's live. It's live sports. When was the last time we saw a live sporting event?
It's not live sports. There are no sports being played. They're picking players to get on the team.
And then
you know what the most boring thing in PE was in grade school, middle school, and high school? Picking freaking teams. Like, hurry up and pick your
exciting part.
Pick your freaking team so we can play. We've only got 20 minutes left. Quit dinking around. If you're going to pick Rob or Billy, just pick someone so we can start playing.
You know why Fur's upset? Because he was probably the last one picked. He's like, come on, because he didn't want to be picked last. He's like, I don't want to have to go through the process. Let's just divide it. Let's just get this done, because it happened. It did. Tell me it didn't happen. It's a childhood memory.
Never last. And here's the thing. Look, once you're picked and on the team, it's the first 3 or 4 people, and then it's like, who cares who's left? Like, just pick some people. Let's go. Let's play.
Tom Brady was pick 199. Every pick in the NFL draft is important.
There's 2 big parts to this for me. One, the NFL draft is, for fans, it's when you buy into the next season. It's your hopes and dreams. You have your favorite players. You want them to draft. Maybe you need a defensive player. Maybe you need a new quarterback. When they draft the person that is going to be the face of the franchise or turn things around, it gives you hope that next year your team's going to the freaking Super Bowl. I guarantee there are 32 teams that believe they're going to the Super Bowl because they had an amazing draft. Second, you are literally seeing over 300 people drafted in a little weekend, a 3-day span, and their lives are changing. The first round especially, Like when the guys are there, or even when this one, was shown in their homes, like you have grown ass men crying their eyes out, like bawling, and they've been drafted and they get to do what they've always loved for the rest of their lives. Like it's freaking amazing to watch.
That part is cool. I'll
Yeah.
admit the part of seeing the families and the people who are changed for good, and maybe are financially struggling now are millionaires. That's cool. And here's the other thing that drives me crazy: when someone gets picked and they're just like nonchalant about it. You just got drafted in a first round to an NFL team. You should be freaking stoked. You're now a multi-millionaire. Like, show a little excitement.
If you are one of the top players going into the draft, it's like, okay, number one, I am going to get drafted. That's not the worry. And so that's why you see some of the first rounders when they get picked, maybe there's some high fives and some hugs and some tears and everything, but it's not super jovialent.
To go back to Rusty, what he said earlier, there were 2 points he made. The first was basically the fans being so excited because now they have hope, right? The draft means nothing. Like, until these people are on the field and playing, you don't actually know how they're going to play out. You really don't know. There are people who, like, I'm looking up right here, all these people who are busts, right? Jarret, you just said how deep into the draft Tom Brady went. Nobody was expecting him to do jack. He's one of the potentially greatest quarterbacks of all time. You don't know how any of these players are going to pan out until they're actually on the field and playing. So
But
what's
that's
the
why
point?
it's so fun.
So
that's why the NFL is so great, because there's truly no off season. Because even when there's no games being played, there's free agency, there's the draft, there's training camp, there's preseason. There's so much that you're always involved in. That's the beauty of it. You don't know what's going to happen, but you watch all these things because you want to get insight. You want to see how your team's going to be. You want to know every single person on the team. Like,
Look,
it's
all
like,
speculation.
No.
It drives me
Who
crazy.
cares? That's what's
It's
fun
pure
about
speculation until
It's
it's
not-
game time and the shoes are laced up and the first kickoff is done. Like, it don't matter. Like, who cares?
it. Yeah,
It's not
nobody
the game.
watches The Bachelor knowing exactly who they're going to pick and give the rose to. That's why you
People
watch
watch The Bachelor to see punches thrown and people throwing drinks in each other's faces.
And it's not
Hey.
speculation. It's not that's not the word of speculation. It's hope. It's like, oh,
Hope is true.
we needed
Spoken from a true Cowboys fan.
it's always hope. It's
Wow.
just like, hey, we needed I don't know, Jerry Jones is wild.
Let's move then, since you guys are all big on draft. Like, I assume these coaches, these managers, they probably know. Look, it's chess game, right? There's picks that happen a few picks ahead of you. You don't know what's going to happen, but as things are closing in, you pretty much know what your next move's going to be. Why in the heck does it have to take 10 freaking minutes to make a pick? Like, give the people 30 seconds. Let's get this thing going.
There's more to it than that.
Oh my
because
God, a lot
There's so
more.
many trades. If they have a board of 10 people that they could draft right now, and they know they're going to, obviously there's going to be one of them 10 picks later, they might be calling every team behind them saying, hey, is there somebody you want that you want to trade up for? So it can take them up to 10 minutes just to call everybody and see if there's going to be a trade. Like, there's so much going on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean,
It shouldn't take you that long.
What?
It shouldn't take
What?
that long.
Are you
It shouldn't
serious?
take that long.
These are moves that will make or break
Hey.
GMs and owners and coaches.
Who had the first pick this year? The Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals, yes.
Right?
They know. They know.
The
who they
draft starts 15 minutes in to the draft, into the broadcast. No pick yet. Finally, the Bengals get put on the clock. 9 minutes later, they finally make a decision. Are you kidding me? It's Joe Burrow,
Yep.
whatever, the
Joe
LSU
Burrow.
quarterback. The LSU quarterback, everyone and their dog knows that he's going to be picked first. Can you just make the pick and not milk out 9 minutes?
Once again, you don't know what happened on the other end.
Nothing. They were probably waiting, grab Pop-Tarts.
Dude,
Like,
it was 10
why do
minutes.
you need that long to make a pick?
A lot of times, I think it's the broadcast too, is they want to give
Yeah.
Joe Burrow his time because they're talking about him and what he's going to do for the franchise and showing his highlights and talking about stories about him. Like, it's not just it took them 10 minutes to decide that they're going to pick him. I just think that's how the event works.
Yeah.
But let me give you another idea on how the event works. I have viewership numbers. 2020 blew viewership numbers out of the water. Like Jarrett said,
Well,
yeah.
not a lot
nothing
going
else
on.
is on.
Nothing else is on. But 15.6 million people watched round one
That is
on Thursday.
crazy.
People love this. When it comes to the NFL, it just can never be enough. Like, people love the content they put out.
Right.
And with COVID and everything getting canceled, it all married together very well. Speaking of Joe Burrow, I found his quote funny. They were interviewing him the other day, and they were talking about how because of COVID, he's actually living in his parents' basement. He said his dad told him he's got to be the first millionaire that's living in his parents' basement still.
Oh my!
That's a cool fact.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how our listeners, viewers, see this topic.
Well, I don't think there's any gray area. I mean, there's no gray. There's no like, I kind of watch it here and there. It's just like, no. I think if you're watching the draft, you pretty much stay religious, and you're like, either you keep up to date on it, you have it on the background, or you just don't watch it.
I thought the same thing for fantasy football. That's one of the most annoying things is the freaking draft because it takes so long. Like, just put that baby on auto draft and let's go.
No, don't do that. I don't want to put it on auto draft.
You're telling me you're smarter than a computer?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. You think you're smarter than a computer, but you're not.
The computer will just take the next best player available, so you could end up with 5 quarterbacks.
Did you hear? Listen to what you just said.
No.
Next best player.
Not at the position that you need.
No, it won't do that.
Yes, it will.
Not draft. No, it won't.
Have you been on auto draft? Done fantasy
and
football?
I've won leagues from auto draft.
People in your league must suck.
No, it's because you can't beat a computer. People think they know more than what they do. They put emotion into it.
Here's the thing: fantasy football is a complete. You just have to have really good luck. You can draft really well and people get hurt, or you can draft really well and they just have a bad year. Like it's
kind of like the real NFL draft.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, the Chiefs were just lucky because they traded to go up and get Patrick Mahomes. They just got lucky. Baloney. Let's move on.
I saw plenty of criticism when Pat Mahomes was drafted.
There's criticism on everybody, no doubt.
No.
I knew. You know what? And what's crazy is
cocky, arrogant, wild, long throwing passes, risky.
Most of them said he was a project, wasn't going to start anytime soon, and had bad footwork, bad decision making, all sorts of stuff.
Speaking of quarterbacks and projects, Rusty.
Yes, that's a great segue.
Wow, that was amazing.
If they did Emmys for podcasts that nobody listens to, you'd win it just for that.
For segues, yep.
But yeah, speaking of projects
and quarterbacks, and
Project
Chiefs,
11
and Chiefs quarterbacks projects.
Project 11. Let's talk about it. This was something I watched a week or so ago. Just came out. If you guys have not seen this, I highly recommend checking it out. If you want to get motivated, if you maybe are not, if you're squeamish, you don't like to see injuries and stuff, it might not be the best thing for you to look at the images, but the story of what Alex Smith has gone through is unfreaking believable. To give you guys some background on it, it was November 18th of 2018. He's playing in just another game in the regular season. I think they're 6-3 at the time. They're sitting pretty good in the division. They get into this game. It's a home game, and he sees some pressure coming, and he gets sacked hard by 2 guys. I think J.J. Watt is the main one that takes him down, and he breaks his leg, compound fracture. It's not pretty. His leg is going in different directions. It's pretty much in 2 pieces at that point. So they, it's normal, NFL business. They bring out the stretcher, they put him on, they take him off the field. Everybody's, freaking out, don't know what's going to happen with Alex. They take him to the near hospital, and they see how bad it is. A compound fracture. It's terrible. It's all the way up his freaking leg, and they have to rush him back to surgery. And none of this is really, out of the ordinary. But what happens 2 days after this surgery, he starts to get a terrible fever. It's getting outrageous. They don't know where it's coming from. So they do some blood cultures. They find out he's got an infection, and they unwrap his leg. And the image, I'm telling you, oh my gosh. like half of his leg is black and blistered. Like it doesn't even look like a leg.
Oh my gosh, the procedure they had to do to clear the infection. It's just removing meat.
Yeah.
And they kept taking more and more and more. And then when finally they said they've removed it all, I mean,
it's bone. It's just bone. Yeah, when they got to the final image of what his leg looked like after his whatever 15, 16 surgeries there, I was like, I mean, I knew he had surgeries and I knew, he had an infection. It was bad and they said it was life-threatening. But even in the back of my mind, I didn't think of that. I'm thinking, things went bad, but he's all right. Like I didn't ever foresee in the back of my mind that his leg would be, almost to the point where it's better to amputate it. Like he had almost nothing left of his leg.
You don't really understand how bad it really was until this documentary. I gained so much respect for somebody who I don't know, but to see how he carried himself through the whole process is amazing. Is absolutely amazing.
Again, it all boils down to kind of what we're talking about and why it's so inspiring is he wants to play again. He wants to play on an NFL field. He's saying in this documentary, how far can I push it? Can I get back on the field in a uniform and play the game that I love? And so that was the question I brought up to these guys is, should he even be trying to do this? It's not can he or will he, it's should he? I mean, he almost lost his life, almost lost his leg, and he wants to go back and play this game. It's a game.
My thinking is yes.
I think so too. I didn't think that going into it. If you'd asked me that before I'd seen it, and I, from the outside looking in, think, he hurt himself pretty bad. He's up there in age. He's already made millions of dollars. He doesn't need to play. Like, why? Why put yourself at risk? But then when you see it and you see all the rehab he's pushing himself to go through, he's already freaking running. He's playing with his kids when people have pretty much told him it was going to be a struggle to even walk. And I think he says in the documentary is like he wants to prove to his kids that you can do anything.
I mean, as a straight male, guy looked great without a shirt on. Okay, Alex Smith still looked amazing without a shirt on,
no doubt.
He's not in football shape. I think it's just too late. I think he had a good run. He made it to a Super Bowl even though he wasn't the starting quarterback. He's accomplished a lot of things. He was the number one pick in the draft. But in just my opinion, I don't think that he has a shot to get back on the field.
Do you think he should try?
Yeah, you're answering the wrong question. You're answering will he. I want to know should he.
I'm afraid that if he does try to do that he's going to then injure something else. Like either his muscles aren't strong enough, he doesn't have that fast twitch in his leg anymore. And so now all of a sudden you're dealing with now maybe a torn ACL in your knee, your ankles, whatever, because I just don't think that you're in that shape anymore. So I'm going to say no. I just don't think he should try it. Because I don't want him to risk injury again. That's my biggest concern.
He should definitely try. Did you see how he lit up when he was able to, for the first time for months, to throw a football again? And his wife said the same thing. She's like, he's been positive. He's been really upbeat about this, but I hadn't seen that until he threw a football. And that right there tells me that is truly what drives him. That's what drove him to get as far as he did today. So I think he should absolutely try.
I want to see him play. I want to see him play again. I think it'd be. It has to be considered one of the best comeback stories.
Let's ask that, Jarret. If he does take a snap, let's say he takes a snap as a starting quarterback, is that the best comeback ever in sports history?
He has to start a game. He has to start and finish a game for him to be considered the comeback player.
Here's the thing, though. Comeback player of the year is not a comeback and you played like an MVP. It's you came back. Like, I don't even think if he makes a roster, if he's like on the 53, I think he's got to be considered.
To me, if Alex Smith comes in, like I said, if he goes like 12 of 15, 185, and like a couple touchdowns or one touchdown, I would absolutely like, yeah, there's no question that's the comeback player of the year. There's
I
nobody.
don't even care
There's nobody
if he
that
comes on the game. If he comes in the game, they've already won it, and they let Alex Smith come on and take a knee. F it. I'm voting for him comeback player of the year. I don't even
There's
care.
no way. There's
don't even
no
care.
way. There's no way.
He
That's
had
pretty
nothing
impressive.
but bone. Like, if he's on the roster, the legitimate roster, he deserves to be in the consideration.
Look, he can do that now. He can do that now. He can go in a game and take a knee. There's nothing. You have to show me. To me, he has to play a quarter. He has to play a quarter.
Who would
He
you
can't-
vote for
I don't know who's
over
even.
Alex Smith?
I don't even know who would be second place right now. I would
Thank
have
you.
no idea. I would have no
Nobody.
idea.
If I had a good amount of money I could just blow on a bet, I'd put it on Alex Smith winning comeback player of the year. Even if he doesn't play, if he's on the roster, I guarantee he'll be considered.
I'm showing there are actually 2, 4, 6 players that have better odds in Vegas for
Whoa.
comeback player of the year.
Okay.
Gronk.
Oh, you can no.
That's stupid. He retired.
Hey.
He retired and played in. Okay.
You're not
Hey,
coming
I'm
back from anything.
Yeah.
Don't hate me. Don't hate me.
I know.
Ben Roethlisberger, Matthew
No.
Stafford,
Yeah.
J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, Derwin James, and then Alex Smith.
No. No.
Like any of them. I don't
Yeah,
even care what
there's-
any of them do. No.
Yeah, and I'm with Rusty, and I don't agree. Trust me, on when it comes to NFL and football, I don't agree with Rusty on a lot of things. This is one of them. That's the number one. Vegas has Gronk being the comeback player of the year. Did you read
Yeah.
those in order? That's stupid.
Yeah, I did.
That is the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Maybe the reason is because Vegas doesn't think that Alex Smith will be able to come back.
Well, I think that's obvious.
And that's
if they
probably
knew Alex was
Playing into it.
Yeah.
That's probably playing into it.
Last question revolving around this whole deal, and we talked a little bit about it, guys. Curses or Washington Redskins quarterback curse. Because if you look at the similarities of what happened to Alex Smith and what happened to Joe Theismann, it is
So read
almost
those
like
off. Read those
it's
off for
nuts.
the fans.
You had the deal, but the main thing is it happened on the exact same day. So November 18th, I think it was like 1985 is when it happened to Joe. Same injury. They both had a compound fracture. It happened near the same yard line, maybe not exact, but same area. I think like the 40-yard line, somewhere around there.
According to this source, the 30-yard line, it was the same final score of the game. It was
Yeah.
the same location, the same, obviously, injury you mentioned. It was caused by the same 3-time defensive player of the year. The injury was caused by the same tackler
Well,
and
yeah,
the
because
same
he had-
position, a
Yeah,
left
dude.
tackle.
That's crazy.
That's really
It is
weird.
crazy.
It's like that
That
whole
is
Abraham Lincoln and JFK assassination thing.
What?
I don't know.
Really? You guys don't know that? I know, completely off topic, but it's just I always thought it was interesting.
I think they're both, in my opinion, coincidence. I don't think it's a curse.
That's incredible coincidences. Like,
Well,
how?
Well,
Look at everything that happens in the world. There's so many things you can compare. Eventually, you're going to have something. Statistically, odds are going to line up and be like that.
when you're talking about curses for Washington Redskins quarterbacks, I was talking about the whole history. Because if you go back with every history of quarterback for the Washington Redskins, I mean, Joe Theismann was the last great one they had. I mean, and then they had RG3 who had the great rookie year, but then he kind of faded out.
Speaking of drafts not mattering,
Hey, I said we omitted that it's hope. It's all it is. It's hope. We hope.
So
that it
what's it
happens.
matter to watch it? Just wait until
Oh,
you see your team unfold and either suck or be good. Preseason and draft are a waste. Let's just play the real game and see how it works. It don't matter how you practice, fellas. It's how you play.
It's entertaining. That's the whole thing. Is it's entertaining. Like, I love to see it. I love to see everybody's emotions on their sleeves. like I said, grown-ass men crying because their dreams have just come to reality. Like, it's amazing. I think it's the best reality TV show out there. Nothing even comes close to it. Like, I watch it every single year.
Yep.
I like to watch as much of it as I can. I get super pumped about whoever the Chiefs take. I watch highlight videos all night, and I talk myself into this is it, this is the year. And you know what? I did that with Patrick Mahomes, and dang was I right. Come on.
The one time. The one time. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for another great episode of Not Exactly Experts. Make sure you tune in next time as we will discuss whatever comes off the top of our heads.
See you guys.
Good.
See ya.
See ya.
There you go.